We're going to have a couple of rules after every game. Seriously, guys, after every game, please, definitely say GG. I don't want to have to prompt you to say GG. You know, this is all in good fun and learning. There is no embarrassment. There is no criticism. There is no negativity whatsoever, okay, guys? We want to keep this 100. We want to keep this happy, jovial, and a learning experience. We want to encourage others to jump in here and get some free opportunity at some training. So, you know, no negativity, okay? Yes, I'm going in order. Zerg McLurg is first. Good luck and have fun. All right, the first thing I want to say is most people are unaware that controlling these 4 center squares is a thing. Controlling these 4 center squares that there are a thing. So that's why you see a lot of openings playing E4 or D4 or, you know, things like that. He's immediately defending the pawn that I attacked. The most common responses in this position are typically the Italian game with Bishop C4 or the Rai Lopez or Spanish with Bishop B5. I prefer to play Bishop B5 because it subtly looks like it's attacking the piece that's defending the square that I'm already attacking, but I really don't want this pawn. I really don't want this pawn. So this is a common response. People think, oh, you want to take this knight, so I'm going to help you do it. I don't want to take that knight. I want to keep my bishop on the board, and I'm really going to end up rerouting this bishop along these diagonals, more than likely, okay? So he's getting his pieces out. King safety is important. That's a good thing. I'm gone. I'm going to castle my king. I strongly encourage, if your rating is below, really 1800, but for the purposes of this video, if your rating is below 1400, you need to castle in the first 10 moves. You need to castle as quickly as possible. I'm going to play C3 because, again, I want to keep my bishop. Yes, I know that this pawn is under attack. I'm going to save it now since he's castled. Probably going to do something like Rook D1 and then push this pawn and attack in the center very quickly. Notice how difficult it is for Black's pieces to get involved on my side of the board. All of his attacking potential is grossly limited by the structure of this position. This is by design. I want to try to hold my opponent back on his side of the board, starting with the influence on these 4 center squares. Starting with influence on these 4 center squares. That's what we're going to focus on, okay? So he's tickling my bishop again. We're not going to worry about that because we've already declared that we want to keep our light square bishop as long as possible. So I'm going to calmly retreat this bishop to the pocket and start with some long-term ideas on attacking his king on the H7 square. Watch what I do. Exclamation play will get you a game. Exclamation play will get you a game in here. Let's go. All right, we're capturing all of this stuff. I'm assuming he's going to play pawn takes pawn, and then I'm going to tickle his knight before doing anything else. Look at his rook over here, guys. Look at his rook over here on the light squares. Very lonely looking piece. All right, so let's begin. All right, let's go see if we can go get this knight. Let's see if we can't go get this knight right now. And that's a GG. I want to see those GGs in the chat. Let's go. GGs in the chat. All right, next up is Chunky Chuck. Let's go. Good luck and have fun. Same concept. Grabbing in the space in the center. Whoever controls the center controls the direction of attack. Now, Chunky Chuck is attacking us with a system we call the Carol Khan, which is declared by, I want to be able to influence this D5 square as long as possible. So what I'm going to do is hit him with the pan-off attack. And I'm going to fight for control of that D5 square. All right, here we go. Oli Pals is in the house. Let's go. Oli Pals. Shout out to my dude, Oli Pals. Welcome and hello, hello, hello. All right, guys. Remember what we're doing here. We're trying to influence the 4 center squares. The person who has the most influence over the center controls the direction of attack. Okay? Trying to give it to you fast. The person who controls or influences the 4 center squares the most controls or influences the direction of attack. All right? Guess who's doing it and guess who's not? Just a light tickle. I just want to take the queen off of these squares, to be honest with you. All right, I don't mind. I normally don't do this, but I'm gonna do it this time, especially with him retreating. I'm gonna grab some more space in the center. Obviously controlling what the knight can do. And I'm gonna get my king safe. Notice how long it's gonna take him to get his king safe. He is not castling queenside. I fully expect him to play something like bishop b4. I'm out of here though. I'm gone. This could be a thing. Orange says he's loving the hat. Appreciate you, my guy. Should I isolate these pawns? I mean, what's he gonna do? The person who controls or influences these 4 center squares controls the direction of attack. What's gonna happen? Pawn takes pawn, and it's a surprise attack on the bishop. Say hello to my little friend. Next up is Bruce Potter. Bruce Potter is next. Get ready. Bruce Potter is next. Get ready. All right, I'm just gonna take a free tempo on this rook. It's a free tempo on this rook. Notice his knights are in a relationship. They can't really move without one of them going bye-bye. Notice the amount of influence I have over the 4 center squares. All right, we're gonna continue to build up on the center. Maybe, let's try this one. Double attack this pawn. I'm expecting something like this. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Would not be surprised at all. Bruce Potter says, I am prepared to lose by showing an opening that people do but has easy counter. Okay. Oh, look at this. This is called a discovered attack, guys. He just tried to discover attack on me. Do we care? Do we care? I'm just gonna go right here with a subtle threat. We're also protecting our bishop just in case our knight needs to move. All right, we expected him to do something like this. Check. Let's actually check him and see what he does. I mean, obviously we're hitting this, so he does have knight back. That is a move. Just want to see what he does. All right, I'm kind of happy for that move. So now we're double attacking here, and we're subtly attacking here. He does have a move, though. There is a move to get him out of this trouble. Oh, that's not it. That's not it. Let's see if he finds a way to block this check. This is a fork. A fork is defined when one piece attacks 2 or more pieces at the same time. All right, so we're gonna go after this guy. Is there anything he can do? A tricky knight has one job and one job only. And that is to get an edge. All right, we're building up on the pin piece, guys. Put pressure on the pin piece. That's the technique that we're applying here, putting pressure on the pin piece. We have 2 pieces attacking the pin piece. He has 2 defenders. What I'm aiming to do is disconnect the communication between this queen and this rook. And I'm gonna do it by playing something like knight f6. Knight f6 would cut off communication between the queen and the rook, allowing me to play queen takes rook without complication. Cutting off communication between the queen and the rook. Now the queen is also hanging in this position. Doesn't matter what he does now. Doesn't matter what he does. Should I take the queen or should I take the rook? Oh, he said GG. Get some GGs in the chat, guys. Let's get some GGs in the chat. Thank you so much for being a good sport, Chunky Chuck. Next up, we have Bruce Potter. Good luck and have fun. GG's in the chat. Let's go. Same ideas, guys. I don't know why I keep getting white. Same ideas. The person who influences and controls the center controls the direction of attack. So let's see what's going to happen. Get your king safe as quickly as possible. Also, listen to good music as much as possible. Oh, okay. We have someone being a little bit different. We've got a Petrov. Now, I tell you what, I'm just going to play Bishop, C4, and Castle, which is kind of like an Italian. He didn't do what I was expecting him to do. So we are into an Italian game now. Still trying to influence these 4 center squares. He's doing a good job of countering in the center. Definitely eating that, yes. I'm gonna take this one. Gonna take this one. What's he threatening? What is he threatening? Not sure what he's threatening. I also have pawn takes or knight takes. I'm gonna take this bishop though. I'm just trying to figure out what is he threatening. Am I missing something? Okay, that's a piece. Bishops can go backwards, guys. Bishops can go backwards. So that's another common thing that you see with lower rated players. They miss pieces that are under attack and they miss squares that are under attack or protected. So in this case, he checked me on a square. I'm sorry. He checked me on a square that was already defended by my bishop. I'm just gonna move my bishop out of the way because he just attacked my bishop with his rook. My bishop was undefended. Losing is learning. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Hey, appreciate you. Wants to trade queens. Why wouldn't I trade queens? I'm up material. Now I'm getting the remainder of my pieces out. I have extra pieces. I have 2 extra pieces. So I have no problems with trading. I'm taking this pawn. That pawn, I'm taking this, yes. Intruder alert. Sir, I don't want you taking my pawn though. Interesting. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna retreat, simultaneously tickling this guy. And bye-bye. Can I get the look both ways, guys? Can I get the look both ways in the chat? Look both ways in the chat as demonstrated. I'm gonna go after this guy and simultaneously look at this one. And we've already decided that when one piece attacks 2 or more pieces at the same time, it's called a fork. And that's what we just did with him. The tricky knight is getting busy with it. We're gonna prevent this pawn from moving any further. Pawns can only move forward, but they capture on diagonals. Losing is learning. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate you. On our grind to 10,000 followers. Let's go. Rooks belong on open files, guys. Rooks belong on open files. This is an open file here, the C file, in fact. And once a rook gets to the open file, the sweet spot is the 2nd or the 7th, depending on what color that you have. In this case, I have the light colored pieces, so I'm going to put my rook on the 7th, controlling everything in the vicinity. I like to tell the kids that the rook is like a tank. The rook is like a tank. True story. All right, so how do we get closer to him? I might as well just connect both of my rooks, grabbing additional space. We're going to push this pawn to make sure that the king cannot come any closer. The king cannot capture a piece that's protected. We're going to hit him with a lightweight check here to make him step away from the vehicle, also known as my knight. See how he does. He really only has one move here, so let's go ahead and get ready for that one move. He only has one move. He's got to get out of check. Well, he could block. 3 ways to get out of check: run, block, and capture. He cannot capture my rook, but he can block it. Let's see. I'm going to check him over here again just for harassment purposes. He cannot return to the back row, and he cannot move forward, okay? I'm going to slide over here with another check, and that's going to be GG. GG's in the chat. Thank you so much, Bruce Potter. Bruce Potter, thank you so much. GG's in the chat, guys. Now we got Yu Chang 2012. Yu Chang 2012. Good luck and have fun. And hello, YouTube. Hello, YouTube, and welcome. All right, here we go. This player has decided to attack the 4 center squares from the queen. I'm going to attack it from the flank. This is called a flank attack. And this particular structure over here with this bishop in the pocket is a fianchetto. I have fianchettoed my bishop, and I'm going to use it to attack the center from a distance. He's kind of like a sniper. I'm still going to get my king safe now. Don't get me wrong. King safety is very important. And I prefer king safety over attacking, guys. I prefer to get my king safe before starting my attack because I want to have total and complete flexibility on how I attack my opponent without having to worry about retreating. All right, we have a lightweight fork here. I don't want this bishop in this particular instance because this bishop is not dangerous to me. This bishop is behind these 2 pawns, and those pawns are his, and they're blocking any potential attack on my king. So what I'm going to do, however, is pull my queen over to the b6 square and look very closely at that pawn. Now he's pushed a pawn. I'm going to pin this knight, which is currently undefended. All right, I feel like I should be able to win something here. Knight takes bishop, followed by knight takes pawn. Let's go. Knight takes bishop is check. The only piece defending that bishop is his queen. I'm gonna play knight takes pawn, forking his knight and his bishop. The knight cannot move because of the pin. The only piece that can capture is the queen. He did not capture. He just chose to move his rook out of harm's way. So this bishop is free. I can take the bishop. I can take the knight. I think I'm going to take the knight. And now I'm going to take the rook. He's in check. He's got to get out of check. And I'm going to retreat my bishop here probably. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to retreat my bishop here because if he does this, I'm going to pin him. Slide the rook over. I'm trying to bait him a little bit. Let's see what happens. Still hoping for something like this. Does not want to go for that. All right, whatever. We'll take it. I'm up material. So as the saying goes, the person that is ahead in material is the one that wants to trade. The person that is ahead in material is the one that wants to trade. So I have an extra rook here. I am the one that wants to trade. So let's go. Let's just put this rook on the queen. This is called a skewer, and that's a GG. Let's get GG's in the chat. GG's in the chat. Let's go. Next up, Alpha Beast. Alpha Beast is coming in at 1190, and we're going to continue with the theme. Now, he's playing the Scandinavian, and this is where the queen moves early. Most players are taught not to move the queen early in the beginning of the game, but the Scandinavian is one of those openings where early queen movement is permitted. However, I am still not a fan, and I do not recommend this for players below the rating of 1400. I do not recommend this opening for players rated below 1400. Okay, what I am doing is setting up a discovered attack on his queen. Knight takes knight doesn't even bother me. I'm not even sure what he's up to right now. I like to get a piece here. So what I'm going to do is calmly push this pawn and see what can happen. If he plays knight takes knight, I'm going to play bishop takes. Losing is learning. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate you. Oh, I have another move too. All right, he does this. This allows a discovered attack on his queen. He misses the discovered attack on his queen, guys. So this is a perfect opportunity for you to put the look both ways emote in the chat. Look both ways emote in the chat right now. It's very important that you always, after every move, assess what's under attack. Let's go. Setting up a discovered attack on this king. Once my rook moves, he's going to be in check. And let's go ahead and grab the pawn, putting him in check with this guy. Grabbing the bishop now. Or just, we're hungry. Munchy, munchy, munchy. Fritos goes with lunch. All right, he finally decides to block my light square bishop, but now it might be too late. I'm gonna advance my queen to the same file as his king. And I'm expecting him to push a pawn. That's my expectation. Let's see what happens. Bob's in there. Let's go. We're going to now capture this knight, right? Because the pawn cannot recapture because the pawn is pinned to the king. So let's eat. Munchy, munchy, munchy. Fritos goes with lunch. We fully expected him to do that. Now we're going to return and put huge amount of pressure on his e7 pawn, which is the only thing currently protecting his king. A huge amount of pressure. This is a double attack. Guess what happened, guys? He just moved his bishop right to the square where we just captured his knight. So we're gonna return with the same exact tactic that we hit him with before and play rook takes bishop because the pawn cannot capture. Now I'm gonna jump in here with this queen check. Losing is learning, and thank you so much. Let's go ahead and threaten checkmate on the D7 square. Let's go. Zert McGlurt coming in with the 200 biddies. Thank you so much, man. It's because of viewers like you that make this stream so great. I appreciate you, my guy. Checkmate is threatened. And that's a GG, guys. GG. GG's in the chat. GMI Shan 1983. Good luck and have fun. You're up. Good luck. Okay, I've got a flank attack going. Don't forget, we're supposed to be influencing and attacking these 4 center squares. I'm doing this with an Indian type system. It's called the Sicilian. I'm attacking the center from the flank. Watch what I do. Absolutely interested in eating the pawn. I am a believer that the center pawns are worth more than the flank pawns. So if I have an opportunity to capture a center pawn with a flank pawn, I'm absolutely doing it. Please believe it. Definitely getting my king safe, that's the thing. I also am setting up a double attack with my fianchettoed bishop that we talked about earlier. My fianchettoed bishop on the king's side is attacking his knight, which is only defended by his queen. Developing my last minor piece so that I can get safe. King safety, I'm gone. He did cut off communication between his queen and his knight though, so we do pay attention to that. I'm pushing one pawn so that my bishop can get out somewhere along this diagonal. Not sure where it's going to go yet. I am not concerned about knight takes knight because that's going to allow me to use a flank pawn and move it closer towards the center and influence the 4 center squares. He's double attacking my knight, guys. Pay attention. Every move, you must take a look at what the plan is. Every move. Pay very close attention. The knight is the only defender of the bishop. True story. Lady Lusky coming in hot with that Twitch Prime. Loose pawn over here in the middle. We're probably going to kick this knight out in the very near future. Oh, he protects us. It's very interesting. Huh, let's think for a moment. He developed his knight, blocking his bishop, but protecting this pawn. He is protecting the pawn. I'm gonna go ahead with my original agenda and to kick this knight, and I'm going to put my bishop on the c6 square and double attack the pawn. That's my plan. Using your time is a good thing. I tell my students all the time that I believe that the game is defined in the first 15 moves. The first 15 moves of the game is critically important. Where you put your pieces during the first 15 moves is critically important. I'm just going to go ahead with my plan since this knight retreat doesn't have anything to do with the protection of this center pawn. Remember what we said, the person who attacks and influences the 4 center squares controls and determines the direction of attack. He's protecting it with his queen. Interesting. I'm going to charge over here and see if we can't make this knight do something strange for the change. And please note that this knight doesn't have any good squares to go to. He can't jump on his own pieces. So where exactly is this knight going? Let me know in the chat. Be on the ready. He pushes a pawn. All right, goodbye, knight. Not sure where this knight is going, guys. These are all the squares where he can go, but every one of those squares is protected. So that's GG. Pawn captures, not a problemo. Now, we've talked about this before. The person that has the extra material is the one that is happy to trade. So what do you think we're gonna do? The person that has the extra material is the one that is happy to trade. Guess who's coming into the game? Our Dragon Bishop. The sniper. G-Girl Gaming in the house. Let's go. The sniper is ready. I'm going to go ahead and capture yet another pawn. G-Girl, I hope you're feeling better. It warms my heart to see you in the chat. All right. He's attacking my knight. Do we care? I do want to move this piece, but where? I appreciate that, G-Girl. All right, we're just going to go over here. We do know that this knight is under attack, guys, but guess what we're doing? We've set up another attack ourselves. We do know that this knight is under attack. Go ahead and put your move ideas in the chat. All right, I'm starting to feel like there's a tactic in this position. Obviously, he's threatening to take our knight, and we no longer have queen takes knight because the knight is protected both by his queen and his rook. However, we do have a very secret weapon waiting to join the game. When your pawn reaches the end of the board, you can promote it to any piece that you want other than a king and a pawn. Pawns have to grow up. They cannot grow up to be children or other pawns. So you can become a queen, knight, bishop, or a rook. And this is a subtle threat waiting in the background. So what I am calculating right now, is it possible for me to exchange a lot of pieces off and have no defenders of the A1 square? That's what I'm calculating right now. So I'm going to start this calculation off with the very subtle queen C8, protecting my knight. I may put this bishop back here and put my queen here and mate him on the G2 square. Something like that could happen. We could also put our queen over here and harass him on the F2 square. We also have another attack, which is bishop here, attacking this rook. That's something that we should have considered before. There's a lot of, okay, he's attacking this knight again. I don't like moving my pieces around. Knight takes pawn, Bishop here, he takes. You know what? I'm gonna give him the knight and attack his rook. I'm gonna give him the knight. I don't really want the pawn, to be honest with you. I'm happy with this weakness here. And a bishop is 3 points, a rook is worth 5 points, and a knight is worth 3 points. So I'm offering him 6 for 5 right now. But the problem with this math is I'm going to have a remainder of 8 to his 6. I'm going to have a remainder of 8 to 6, plus this pawn right here is probably worth 3 points. So again, the person with the extra material is the one who wants to trade. G-Girl Gaming says, I'm lost, but I need to learn. We got you. We got you. We're going to do a collab. True story. We're going to do a collab. I'm going to get you right. I'm going to get you right. All right, he took that. So we're going to go ahead and eat the rook. Now we're gonna pin the knight to the queen. We're gonna pin the knight to the queen. I'm expecting the queen to move, to be honest with you. Fully expecting the queen to move. So the queen is watching this pawn, this bishop is watching this pawn. Both of those are under attack, and then the rook is attacking the knight. So what we have here, I liken to a babysitting situation. All of his remaining pieces have jobs. So what we're gonna do is try to squeeze those pieces so that they're overworked. So the first order of business is to double attack his knight. First order of business is to double attack the knight. Bruce Potter says, I feel that bishops are worth more than rooks because they can get out immediately. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Rooks are very, very powerful. Rooks are very, very powerful. And the other thing about rooks is rooks can change the color of the squares that they attack on, whereas bishops can only attack on the color that they start. All right, we're gonna go ahead and trade off queens, right? He's in check, that's a fork. 2 pieces under attack. I'm gonna recapture his queen by putting him in check. And I should be able to gain more material by just queening. Let's just queen and get his bishop, all right? So we take his bishop. All he has left is his knight. This pawn is under attack with check. Let's go ahead and check him. The king has to block or move forward. One of those 2 moves we're about to see. We have rook here, and we're gonna win material again. He chose to block. So let's go ahead and grab the material. Now there is a fork. There is a fork here. Did not see this move. A fork is defined when one piece attacks 2 or more pieces at the same time. All right, so I can play bishop takes pawn and keep my rook. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Check him. And now take this pawn and then come back and pin the knight to the rook. I guess I could have pinned him in the first place. All right, so light check. Now this knight is going to have difficulty moving around the board. Moving my king. These are the squares that he can go to, so I'm gonna take those 2 squares away. He can only retreat. He's going to run out of time. The knight is being dominated on that side of the board. I really want this pawn out of the way, so I'm just gonna push this one and then this one. Okay, well that's a free move. I also could have just won his knight right away. I'm gonna take it now because I missed it the first time. Get this knight off the board, and that's a GG. And that's a GG. We're gonna keep it going. Let's see some GGs in the chat, guys. GG.